Hello, I'm Professor Grouper, and I'm here on Barton Creek. We're here to tell you some astounding fact. This goes way beyond global warming. It goes way beyond climate change. We're going to talk about the atmosphere collapsing from the top down rapidly because of massive overfishing. The big problem started in 1950. Sonar is a tool that the Navy used during World War II to find enemy submarines. It was top secret. But then, long about 1950, Congress told the Navy, oh, you've got a bunch of sonar systems that are surplus, old sonar systems. Well, you've got to sell them to the fishing industry. And most of us fish, we all live in the top half-mile layer of the oceans. And we were real happy until the sonar came along in the hands of the fishing industry. The commercial fishing industry, the corporations, they don't leave anything. They take the whole school. And there's less schools now, and smaller fish. And just less numbers of fish in every school. And there's a 15-year lag between taking schools of fish out of the oceans and subsequent planktonic die-off. It's sterilizing the oceans. So by 1970, British scientists started realizing the atmosphere is shrinking from the top down. Gravity keeps the oxygen here at the surface thickest. I can't say enough about the rainforests. 20% of the oxygen and 20% of the carbon, atmospheric carbon, sink just from 5% of the Earth's surface. The triple tier canopy rainforests have been wiped out by humanity for thousands of years, and it's like 85% gone. Oh, look at this handsome devil. Whoa, that's me on the cover of Life magazine, Professor Grouper. Well, sonar, here we have sonar in 1950 being introduced. Up until sonar, the fishing industry, if you'll call it that, was a matter of luck and a matter of skills passed down for generations. But once sonar was put in the hands of the corporations, it became a form of strip mining. And you know, I hate to tell you this, but it's over 85% of us ocean fish have been wiped out since 1950. Starting about 2010, the industry will start working on the last 10% of the ocean's fish. What happens when the plankton dies off for lack of fish poop, for massive overfishing and lack of fertilizing by the fish? Well, the oceans don't make the oxygen and they don't take in the carbon. It's so important to have the fish out there. It'll only take 75 years if the commercial fishing is ended. If the Navy maybe could go out there and get all these huge fleets off the oceans and let the ocean's fish recover, then that would save our atmosphere. It's descending rapidly. This is a cartoon showing the process. The plane flies over, uses sonar to find the school, calls in the boats, and like I say, it's a form of strip mining. This was done for Greenpeace by a French artist. So massive plankton die-off. This is 1950. All the fish be gone by 2050. About 1970, the atmosphere was starting shrinking from the top down. See here, this little blue line, this is the oxygen. It's 170 miles up. That's less than here to Dallas. And then beyond that, the cold, deep, dark vacuum of outer space coming closer and closer. It's already descended 6 miles from a top of 170. This is dire. Another concept, the cold winds from the poles, they merge, they hug the surface. This is called the zone of intertropical convergence. And in the winter of Antarctica, the South Pole, this mass goes over Asia. Otherwise, it's pretty much stationary. There's a phenomenon called massive plankton die-off that started in 1985. And in 1985, this 10 million square mile cloud of carbonic gases, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, with another one off of West Africa and another one off of Central America. It's building the carbon buildup at the zone of intertropical convergence. This is in January. It's a 10 million square mile cloud of carbon, gases, and particulate. It's called the Asia Brown Cloud. 10 million square miles, 2 miles thick. The heat inside of this cloud is 150, 160 degrees. And it's been taking since 1985, when it was first noticed, since massive plankton die-off started. It was a phenomenon that was never even reported. Takes the evaporation from the Indian Ocean and shoves it up to condensation level and dumps it back in the ocean as a warm, mild carbonic acid. The oceans are becoming more acidic, and there's less oxygen in the oceans, less free oxygen for us groupers to breathe. It's called the Asia Brown Cloud. And then, of course, cloud number 2 off of West Africa. And this evaporation that's being dumped back in the ocean would have been rain for Africa. For 20 years now, there's been worsening droughts. The continental interiors and the tropics are drying up because of this rain out, this monsoon being rained out. It's stolen 40% of the monsoon so far. The continental interiors are drying up, and the tropics, the rainforests, suffering 20 years of worsening drought. I'm Professor Grouper, and if you want to get a copy of this, you could mail. We're calling ourselves Vegan Hemp Bicycle for the solutions.